Caitlin Clark is getting the most nationally televised WNBA games this season, by a mile. And Minnesota Lynx star Nafisa Collier doesn't think that's right. She said as much on ESPN's First Take, essentially questioning why Clark's Indiana Fever have so many TV dates while other teams, even the defending champs, have fewer. This all came on the heels of the WNBA releasing its broadcast schedule, which revealed a jaw-dropping stat. The Fever will have 41 of their 44 games aired nationally, a new record. In other words, virtually every time Caitlin laces up, it'll be on national TV. Many fans and analysts thought this was a no-brainer. Of course, networks want as many Caitlin Clark games as possible. She's ratings gold. But as we've seen even before Caitlin entered the WNBA, when she achieves something big, jealousy often rears its head. Collier, as calm and diplomatic as she appeared in the interview, still let her true feelings slip out. In a segment that started off cordial, Nafisa basically said it's crazy how much spotlight Clark is getting, a take that, as we'll see, is pretty bizarre considering some of her other comments in that same interview regarding the WNBA's growth. It's like she wants to have her cake and eat it too, benefit from Caitlin's star power, but also complain about it. Alright, let's break this down and see what's really going on here. And by the way, if you think Caitlin 100% deserves all those national TV games, go ahead and subscribe. You're in the right place. Okay, so here's what happened. The WNBA schedule drops, and it turns out the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark's team, are getting an unprecedented 41 out of 44 games on national TV. A new record. Anyone with a calculator or common sense can figure out why. Last year, Caitlin Clark was an absolute ratings magnet for the league. That's right. In 2024, the Fever dominated the TV ratings. They weren't just slightly ahead, they had by far the most watched games in the league, setting viewership records and accounting for a huge chunk of the WNBA's total audience. In fact, the Fever's games made up roughly 40 to 45% of the league's total TV viewership last season. To put it another way, one team, led by one superstar rookie, drove nearly half the eyeballs on WNBA broadcasts. Clark's games averaged about 3 times more viewers than other WNBA games. It's insane, but true. So naturally, the TV networks said, we want more of that. If millions of people will tune in for Caitlin, you bet those Fever games will be all over ESPN, ABC, CBS, you name it. More viewers means more ad revenue, which means the network execs are smiling. At the end of the day, it's about money. Broadcasters aren't in the business of charity or fairness. They're in the business of drawing ratings and selling ads. And with the league's new CBA negotiations looming, every WNBA player should, in theory, want the league to put its best face forward and maximize exposure. You'd think they'd all be cheering, yes, showcase the star who brings in the most fans. When you need a game-winning bucket, you give the ball to your best player, the one most likely to score. This is no different. From a rating standpoint, Caitlin is that player for the WNBA. She's the hot hand that can help everyone win by growing the game's audience. Yet, much like a player pouting when they don't get the ball, some WNBA veterans are apparently pouting that Caitlin is getting so much attention, and that sentiment was on full display in this ESPN interview. So, Nafisa Collier went on First Take and was asked about the WNBA's broadcast schedule, specifically if it was fair for the Fever, with Caitlin, to get so many nationally televised games. First, let's clear up a misconception. The question itself was a bit off. It framed the situation as if the WNBA league office was choosing to favor one team. That's not really how it works. The WNBA doesn't unilaterally decide which teams get national TV slots. The broadcast partners, ESPN, ABC, CBS, etc., make those calls because they know which matchups will draw the most viewers and dollars.
In other words,
it wasn't the league playing favorites. It was the TV networks making a business decision.